good to see you again, Timmy. It's good to see you again, Timmy.
Oh, you're changing, baby. You're growing, you know?
Look. It's good. I can't.
You're fine.
It's good.
You're just changing.
It's good to see you again, Timmy.
Okay.
It's good to see you again, Timmy.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to DVDs, Nuts, and Popcorn. I am your host, the PMM, the Physical Media Mac, and I am back with a box full of physical media greatness. Now, hopefully you guys are having a good weekend. We're going to start off with a bang here. You know, most people on YouTube only watch the first 5 to 10 minutes of the video anyway. I'm going to take a 2x4 and hit you over the head at the beginning of this video like Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and we're going to go right to the sickest of all pickups, and that is the Holy Grail, or one of the Holy Grails of Laserdisc collecting, guys, The Keep. The infamous The Keep movie on LD. I still don't believe this is ever released on DVD or Blu-ray, at least not with the original soundtrack from Tangerine Dreams. Now, like I said, this is one of the, when I first started watching YouTube, or not first started watching YouTube, when I first started collecting Laserdisc, I used to watch Laserdisc collection videos and all these different YouTubers, and this is the one that came up in conversations all the time, being one of the Holy Grail finds. Now, early on, I was lucky enough to find this for $2.99 at a Goodwill in my local area, and so I still have that one, and it's actually in better condition than this one. This is not in terrible condition, but it's not in, you know, I wouldn't say this is VG. Now, let me see here. All right, so, and I've talked about this in previous videos, obviously, when I first picked up the, but that's been a while, so I'll say something short about it. This was Michael Mann's first film, and it suffered from numerous post-production issues. Wally Weavers was the special effects supervisor, and he died, like, in the middle of making this film before he could finish the film. So, and The Keep is one of those movies where the special effects is kind of the star of the film. So that was a big blow. Rest in peace to Wally Weavers, of course. Now, the original cut, director's cut of this film, Michael Mann had a cut of 210 minutes. And I think it was Paramount Pictures told him to go F himself, and they cut that down into 120, or they made him cut it down into 120 to edit to 120, and then they showed it to a test audience, and they got some negative feedback, and they finally ended up cutting the film to 96 minutes. And I think once that happened, there's bad blood between Michael Mann and the you know, the movie company. I think it was Paramount. So he's like since disowned this film, and But yeah, I don't know. I guess Half Price Books was getting this mixed up with the full screen version. It was still underpriced. I think the full screen version goes for about $50, but this widescreen release right here goes between $75 and $100 still. So hell of a find right here, guys. Now, this stars Scott Glenn, and I used to always mix Scott Glenn up with either Lance Hendrickson or maybe even both. I think William Dafoe, because I remember seeing him on Urban Cowboy, and I really liked Scott Glenn in Urban Cowboy, but for some reason I was mixing him up thinking it was William Dafoe, I believe. But no, Scott Glenn was in Urban Cowboy. He's the, John Travolta's arch rival in that film. And so he's in this, and this is actually a pretty cool film, man. I enjoyed it. Let me read a little bit of this off the back. This superb gothic thriller will grip you with a combination of horror, romance, and the supernatural. It's a World War II in German-occupied Romania. Nazi soldiers have been sent to garrison a mysterious fortress, but a nightmare discovers. Oh my God, I cannot read. Let me start over here. It is a World War II. It is World War II in German-occupied Romania. Nazi soldiers have been sent to garrison a mysterious fortress, but a nightmarish discovery is soon made. The keep was not built to keep anything out. The massive structure was, in fact, built to keep something in. I remember when you find that out in the film, someone starts saying that. It's because a keep was to protect in the war, in the middle of a war. You'd have a keep, and everyone was there under protection of the war. But they end up finding out that the keep is not there to protect from the outside. The keep is actually there to trap something in the inside, which is really badass. And but yeah, man, just a really infamous film because of all the the train wreck of a production. But just a cool. I can't remember. Did I say musical? Yeah, the music was done by Tangerine Dream. I believe I mentioned that. And yeah, man, really cool shit right here. And again, if there was a release of this recently, I don't think it had the original soundtrack on it because of the Tangerine Dreams thing. And what I would like to get, I mean, that's just ridiculous. A 210-minute cut of the movie. What is that, 60, 120? That's over 3 hours. That's crazy, man. And I can see how a 2-hour film, I always complain about 2-hour films. So I see what they were trying to do. But, if a 2-hour film was epic as fuck, I mean, I kind of want to see. They should, that'd be cool to get a release of the 210-minute, or at least the 120. I wonder if it's out there somewhere. Yeah, 1983, The Keep. Super badass. Break some windows early on here. Put that down there. I've not decided what I'm going to do with that. Obviously, I have a better condition copy of it. I could flip it, make some money off of it, or I could give it away to somebody. I mean, I'm on the fence about it. Now, moving on. Let's go to the other two lasers. And I can't remember. I might have dropped it at the beginning of this video. There was a T2 box set that was badass at Half Price Books, but they had it priced $50, which is the going rate on eBay, so I wasn't going to pay that. And I did pass up on some pretty cool shit. Blowout with John Travolta, I've never seen before. I almost snagged that. And then, what is it, a Love into 45, I think it's called. Almost grabbed that, but decided not to. And there was something else you've probably seen at the beginning of the video. Now, this was MTV's first film that they put out under MTV's production studios. And, yeah, 1996 is Joe's Apartment. I've always known about this film, but never watched it. And yeah, it's always been on my my list to finally see one day. And so this stars our boy Jerry O'Connell. And I think Jerry O'Connell was really kind of an unknown at that time. The only thing that he was in that, like, of note was his first film, which is Stand By Me, of course. Now, I gotta say, man, the cockroach... So anyway, this is basically a cockroach musical, of all things. And I really gotta say, I thought the roach sequences in this movie were really well done. Peter Deming did the cinematography in this film, and I knew nothing about Peter Deming until I started researching his Wikipedia. And this dude did the cinematography for Evil Dead 2. I could stop right there, guys. Mulholland Drive. He did some of the series on Twin Peaks. He's done a ton of really, like, good films. Now, he also worked on the Scream films, I think 2, 3, and 4. Now, the roaches actually look really badass in this film. I mean, they have, like, for being CGI cockroaches, they look really effing real. I mean, this is just a ridiculous, like, just not to be taken too seriously, just fun film. The first side, I was kind of like, this is just so stupid. I mean, at the beginning of the film, basically Jerry O'Connell's character moves from Iowa to New York, and of course he gets robbed 5 times or 4 times as soon as he gets off the bus, and everybody says the same thing: stick him up, Pinhead. And you're like, what is this, a Police Academy film? Speaking of, Jerry O'Connell was in a Police Academy movie. But then actually the second half of the film, once I flipped the disc, I kind of really got into it, because he was like basically living with all these roaches, and the roaches talk in the film and do all kinds of shit. But you know, he was living with the roaches. They don't trust humans. He didn't really like the roaches, but they learned to kind of live with each other. And then all of a sudden, they became enemies. And he gets dressed up in like this Rambo get-up. And he's acting like he's throwing a grenade, but it's like one of those pest bombs. And then they're going back and forth, and they're having this war against each other. And I found that part interesting. And then all of a sudden, they got his back again, and they're trying to protect him from the antagonist in the film. I thought it worked pretty well, man. It was better than I thought it was going to be. Only problem with this, the second half of the disc had disc rot towards like 45-minute period to like an hour. I could never even watch the end of the film. It would just you'd start to see some lines, and then it would just it would stop itself. So very unfortunate. That's the problem with collecting a Laserdisc and picking them up. Even brand new copies have disc rot, depending on, you know, when it came out, what kind of Laserdisc it is, where it was stored at, you know, at what temperatures. I mean, it just all depends, guys. It's very hit and miss. A lot of Laserdiscs do get disc rot, unfortunately. It's kind of the nature of the beast if you're going to be a Laserdisc collector. But I'll definitely grab this again. Probably maybe a DVD copy of it just to have. Or maybe not. I don't know. There is a sequence in the movie. He's trying to get this, you know, he's got this girl that's kind of, you know, their first date. I don't know why you take him back to this dump of a house full of roaches, but there's a scene where he's like, it's right here, where he's on the couch with her, and there's a light above them. It's one of those dish lights that has like a glass dish fixture, and it's full of like thousands of roaches, and it dumps over somehow, and all of those roaches dump all over her and him, and it's so friggin' disgusting. It looks real as shit. I think it might have been was that like real roaches, I think? It might have been like real roaches. I'm not even sure, but it was disgusting. That's a good question. I wonder if they did use real roaches in this film at times. It seemed like they did. Like a mixture of CGI with real. I'm not sure. Get a place, get a job, get a girl. Easily said. Not easily done if you're an eager young man from Iowa on your own in New York. But maybe it all can hilariously fall into place when you got pals who stand arm in arm, arm in arm, arm in arm, so on and so forth with you. Joe's Apartment, MTV's first movie, is a place for fun. All right, no sense of reading all that shit. It's good popcorn fun, man. McDonald's shorted me on ice again in my coffee. I didn't catch it, though. All right, so y'all saw me pick this up, I think, in the last video, Legacy of Rage with Brandon Lee. I think this is the first film that he was in that came over here to the United States. Now, I'm a little bit confused on this because it says Chinese with English subtitles and English dubbed. So I don't know, like, you know, Laserdisc have like different channels you can change it to. And I thought that in doing that and changing the channel, maybe I could hear the English audio, or there was some kind of setting that I needed to put it on, but I could never figure it out. I did hear some English in the film. I don't know if it was dubbed or not, but it was very few and far between. And so I don't know. I don't know if there's another release out there that has English dub from start to finish, or what's going on. I don't know why it's mentioned on here if they don't have it. It's kind of odd, but you know, it kind of adds to the realistic nature of it, having the you know, the original language in it. And so I didn't mind reading subtitles, especially in this film. Now, I talked about this in my last video, so I won't go too far into the production. But Ronnie Yu, whom directed this film, I looked back at his wiki, and he actually directed Bride of Chucky and Freddy vs. Jason, which I thought was really cool. And he's directed all kinds of other good shit, too. Like a movie that I like that I own on Laserdisc. I think it has my boy Billy Drago in it, China White. Like an Asian gang film. Really enjoyed that one. So, definitely looking forward to checking out Ronnie Yu's filmography, seeing some more of his films. Now, I like Brandon Lee in this film, guys. This is more of a serious role for him than I'm used to seeing in a lot of the movies that he's in. Now, well, of course, he has The Crow, which is a very serious role. But now, don't get me wrong. Like, I like some of the more cheesier stuff that Brandon Lee's in. For instance, Laser Mission. Also, a film like Showdown in Little Tokyo. And, you know, there's a few others out there that are pretty cheesy. Or at least his character is cheesy in the film. But this one is, like, straight up serious. And, you know, he's a badass. Make no mistakes about it, man. There's no jokey joke with this film. Now, the legendary Bolo Young is in this film, and Lee handles Bolo Young early on in the film without breaking a sweat. Basically, Bolo Young goes in there to this restaurant where Brandon Lee's the waiter, and he's got his henchmen with him, and they call the manager over there, and they're trying to, you know, get money off the manager, saying, you got to pay us every week a certain amount of money or whatever. And Brandon Lee comes over there and accidentally spills a drink on Bolo Young. And the next thing you know, like, they try to break up a fight. And he continues to wait on the table and goes back over there and brings them new drinks. And Bolo Young just throws the drink on Brandon Lee's face, man. Just totally humiliating him. And they go out into an alley, and he just beats the shit out of Bolo Young. I don't even think it's a fight. Like, he knocks him down on the ground, and he never gets up after that. So, so you know from the jump, Brandon Lee is not to be effed with in this film, guys. Now, I did think that, like, the middle of this film had some pacing issues. It kind of dragged on. But, man, I have to tell you guys, the payoff in this film was absolutely worth it. I'll talk about that in a minute. Now, synopsis in this film. So, basically, he has a friend who's, you know, his friend's, like, has a family that's, you know, they're like a crime family or whatever. And, and Brandon Lee's, like, friends with this guy, but he doesn't get into, like, the bad stuff that he gets into. He kind of stays clear of that stuff, but they still hang out. So it's kind of a weird relationship. But something happens, and the dad and the his best friend decide, I think his best friend's going to go to prison. So they end up setting Brandon Lee up, and he ends up having to go to prison for like 10 years or something like that, maybe 5 years, I can't remember. So part of this is a prison film, which is really cool. And so basically he gets out of prison, or no, I'm sorry, during that time, well, they keep on having these scenes before he goes to prison where his best friend's hitting on his girlfriend. And whenever he goes to prison, his best friend either, like, tries to rape his girlfriend or actually does rape her. So Brandon Lee finds out about this, and he's still, like, a really good guy. He gets out of prison, and, you know, he doesn't want to go back there. He gets a job at a gas station, and his best friend comes up there, like, in his badass car with chicks in the car, and he's basically pumping his best friend's car, pumping his gas, and his best friend says, "Oh, you're out of prison now. Let's go party, man. Let's go party." And he looks at him, like, really serious, like he's really pissed off, and he says, "That'll be $300. And his best friend's like, he doesn't say anything else. He gives him the $300 and drives off. So he doesn't even try to beat him up or anything. So you're like, wow, I guess he doesn't want to go to jail. He's just, like, trying to do the right thing or whatever. But what happens is his best friend actually kidnaps his girlfriend, and I think he's still on probation at that time. Kidnaps his girlfriend, and then that's really when Legacy of Rage takes off. The final act in this film is so brutal. Like, the fight sequences in the movie, there's not enough of it in this movie from start to finish, but in the end, it really pays off. I'm telling you guys right now. He basically breaks into this guy's mansion to rescue his girlfriend, and their henchmen are there. And one of the guys, he karate chops his Adam's apple, and blood just sprays out of the guy's mouth. Instant friggin' death, just like in Mortal Kombat. It is so badass and brutal looking. And then he gets into a fight with this other guy, and the guy grabs him from behind, he knocks him off, and then he basically throws a backwards elbow, reverse elbow like that. And dude, this hits his temple and fucking caves his temple in. I guess fractures his temple. It looks so brutal. I think his eyeball almost pops out of his fucking face. Excuse my French, man. This movie really pumps me up. I'm telling you, man, it is absolutely violence at its greatest. And it turned this film for me into a good film, into an epic watch, man. I can't wait to watch this one again, man. So incredibly violent, that end sequence. And it's a dark film, man. At the end, I don't want to go into more detail with that, but yeah, it has a dark ending. And man, I really wish we would have got more Brandon Lee in movies like this. Man, we lost this guy way too early, and I've always looked at him like, you know, far less of a star and an actor than his dad. But in this film, wow, the promise was there for him to be even to overshadow his dad, in my opinion. This was like a really good start, but he never really got there. I still give Bruce Lee the nod, obviously, but yeah, man, it should have definitely pushed him in the direction of more films like this. Definitely check this one out, guys. Legacy of Rage, a Laserdisc staple. Dropping the F-bomb, man. Getting excited about this shit. Pumped up. Want to break some windows. Break the back window. Let me read this, man. I don't want to let this laser go. Brandon Lee, son of legendary Bruce Lee and universally acclaimed star of The Crow, stars in this gritty thriller drama, directed with visual flair by Ronnie Yu. Now, it says Ronnie Yu's films that I have not seen. The Bride with White Hair. Definitely have to check that out. Warriors of Virtue. Definitely have to check that one out. Framed by his best friend for a crime he didn't commit, Brandon is sentenced to prison. After a daring escape from jail and learning of his friend's betrayal, Brandon vows revenge with raw and furious martial arts from Lee and a stunning shootout climax in the style of John Woo. Brandon Lee's only made in Hong Kong film is also a gripping portrayal of Fury Unbound. Legacy of Rage is a fitting memorial to a man destined for greatness, but torn from this world too soon. Yeah, it does have that John Woo style ending to it. All right, that's enough of that. I'll learn to read one day.
Freaking idiot.
All right, so I didn't mention, so I have half-price books pickups, Goodwill pickups, Amazon, eBay. Let's go to Goodwill real quick here. Let's see what I got here. I think I only got 2 Goodwill pickups, so we'll do those first. No, I got 3. Get my shit together. All right, now. All right, I told you guys I was going to check this out. Snitch with The Rock. Now, I will say something about that. I mean, listen, this movie is not a bad movie at all. It was pretty good. Is this something that I would keep in my collection? No, I have no business keeping this. Not really something that I would ever watch again. I will give it credit. Michael K. Williams is the gang leader in this film, and he's the one that stole the show in the series The Wire as Omar Little. Now, rest in peace to Omar Little, of course. He died, drug overdose. Don't do drugs. The PMM is telling you guys, do not do drugs. Now, unless it's marijuana, which I could care less. Now, basically in this film, The Rock's son accepts a package delivered to his house from a friend. And it's got like, I don't know, 600 ecstasy pills or, you know, something bad, whatever, fentanyl, I don't know what it is, but some street narcotics, guys. Now, he's busted immediately. Now, guys, not that the PMM has ever done anything of the sort, but I am going to break down UPS Drug Shipping 101 for you right now. Now, if you're going to send someone drugs from another state to their house, number one, don't put their name on it. Just put the address. And if you want to put some kind of fake name, just put a fake name. Now, my experience in accepting boxes with non-drugs in them, by the way, is they don't even ask your name. You just come to your door. If it has the address on it, you sign your name, and you pay no attention to the name. The UPS pays no attention to the name. FedEx pays no attention to the name. And so you sign for it, okay? Shut the door, immediately go run and grab a permanent marker and write all over the top of the box, return to sender. Now, you do not open that box for at least 48 hours. So 5 minutes after you shut the door and you've already written return to sender on the box, the cops kick in your door, grab the box to see return to sender, say, what is this? What's going on here? We had you busted. You tell them, sorry, I accepted the box. And then all of a sudden I realize, after talking to my family members, no one ordered anything. So I've seen stuff in movies where you shouldn't sign for stuff like if it's not yours. So I got worried and wrote return to sender. Never open it. No party, no foul, right? So 48 hours passes by. If they were going to bust you, they would have already busted you. Then you can open it, distribute it, do whatever you need to do with it. All right, that's enough of that. Now, so basically, The Rock in this film is this big construction company owner, and his son gets a minimum of 10 years in prison. This guy is softer than cotton nails, guys. He's going to get his ass raped in prison for sure. And so basically, The Rock can't do anything except their lawyer tries to get the son to snitch or become to act like he's a drug dealer and try to set up other friends, you know, and he refuses to do it. So basically, The Rock goes and sees the district attorney and says, okay, I'll do it if you'll let my son out of prison. So basically, he becomes the snitch and starts working for this gang and driving trucks of guns and drugs across Mexican borders and stuff, and tries to set up the Mexican cartel and all kinds of shit. Now, that's about it. I know it's pretty good. Nothing too crazy. Look at this. No ice left in this mother freaker. I hate iceless iced coffee. All right, this is a movie that I checked out last night. Boa with Dean Cain. And I gotta say, I actually enjoyed this film, much in the respects of like Anaconda. But, you know, I've talked about Anaconda in the past. It hasn't really aged that well, the CGI snake. But like in Anaconda, for the most part, it's in the daylight. And it's like you can see it's so crisp and clear. Like in the daylight, you know, you can see like every flaw. They do like a really good job of these dark, like it's like a really dark environment in this film, dark sets, and they do a good job of hiding the imperfections. So didn't really mind the CGI very much. I think this is like an original like Sci-Fi Channel film. So you know the pedigree. Probably so bad that it's good. Now, Boa was also known as the new Alcatraz. And, you know, this is obviously a 2001 creature feature. Like I said, starring Dean Cain. How about you guys like Dean Cain as Superman? Like, was he not the best Superman? I'm just saying that. I've heard people say that before. I've never even watched the, what was the series that he was in? The Superman series. Was it called Superman? I have no clue. Anyway, irregardless, I do like Dean Cain. I can see him being a badass Superman. And, yeah, you know, my only problem with this film, basically what happens in this, let me just read this if I can. It is the dawn of the new millennium, and the world's first international high-security prison, designed to house some of the most dangerous criminals in history, has been built deep in the Antarctic. Designated only as Facility Number 1, the prison is considered entirely escape-proof, and those incarcerated there thought that they were alone until now. What they are about to discover is that the icy tundra houses more than the deadly criminals at Facility 1. A giant and deadly man-eating snake that has lay dormant for centuries has been awakened by the human presence and has a voracious appetite for human flesh. As the prehistoric slaughter begins, everyone in the prison must fight to escape the paralyzing jaws of the deadly boa. Now, basically, Dean Cain and his wife, they're like, they like study like ancient, or they study like prehistoric reptiles, like the fossils and stuff like that. They teach at this college, and it's kind of funny. They're brought on board when this this prison is like, for whatever reason, I don't remember. Like they're drilling into the tundra. I don't know if they're adding like additions onto the prison or what is going on. I can't remember why they're doing that. But they end up running into a rock, and they find out that it's a hollow rock. So they're worried about there being hydrogen inside of it. I think that's the story. So, and it could cause an explosion. So they finally decide to drill through it. And yeah, it causes this big explosion. And apparently hydrogen keeps things like alive, or it freezes you. So this snake that lived, you know, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, or maybe thousands of years, I don't know, is still like becomes alive again. It was frozen by the hydrogen, if that makes any sense. And, you know, gets inside of this prison and starts, you know, killing people. Yeah, I thought this was fun, man. It was a fun flick. The only downside to this movie, I will say, is, besides the fact it was a little dark, is the fact that there was hardly any blood and gore in it. I was very surprised at the lack of blood and gore in this film, guys. You know, you got the CGI snake, but you really would wish that they would throw some practical gore in it. I don't even remember too much CGI gore. It's like, it's pretty goreless for a creature feature. It's more of like on the lines of the snake swallowing people whole. One of those type of films. Well, no, I take that back. There is some CGI gore. The tail of the boa, like, goes through people's chest and stomachs and shit. Kind of looks lame, but whatever. All right, boa. Definitely shelf-worthy, guys. All right, this was an amazing pickup from Goodwill. I had no clue. Obviously, the first two films I had a clue about. I owned the first two films on Laserdisc, Mortal Kombat, the first Mortal Kombat, and then you have Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Owned both of those on Laserdisc. I'm a fan of both films, but I knew nothing about this third one. It's called Mortal Kombat Legacy. And apparently this was a series that lasted 2 seasons, and it's got Michael Jai White as Jax, and I'm not sure about the other actors in it, but it's got a lot of cool actors in it. But I just remember Michael Jai White being Jax in it. When I looked it up on the internet, I saw that, and this really got some good reviews on IMDb. I was very surprised, and apparently the first season is supposed to be a prequel to the original video game, which I thought was pretty cool. Not sure about the second season, but I guess that goes into the you know, the current time of the first video game. I don't know, trying to compare video games and movies timelines is a little weird, but yeah, man, I am really pumped up about seeing Mortal Kombat Legacy. Didn't really take any notes on this. Michael Jai White's like the only... But yeah, man. 2 movies come on 1 disc, and then I guess because it's 2 seasons, they have the rest of it on 1 disc. Man, I'm such a big fan of Mortal Kombat movies, man. I cannot wait till another film comes out. I enjoyed the Sub-Zero film that came out. And I'll be at the movie theater, man, day one when they drop some NK shit, man. I love the Mortal Kombat franchise. I know Mortal Kombat Annihilation gets hate and stuff, but I still think it's a really cool film. And the first one kicks ass. Let me see if I can see something here. Why are they not showing... You see, I see the first one, but it's not showing Legacy back here. That's weird. It only shows the first two films as far as the production information. All right, moving on. Already at 41 minutes? Holy shit. All right, next up here. Let's go into some of the Amazon and eBay stuff I ordered. Now, I would have bought this off a name alone, even if it's a terrible movie that's really not that good. But Wood Chipper Massacre, guys. I get to add this to my Power Tool Massacre collection. I'm all over that shit, guys. Super campy shit. And I don't know, man. I mean, this film right here is like, it's really bad, but I don't even know if it's so good because it's bad. It's just bad. But this was interesting reading this from the director. It sounds like he's making excuses and stuff about the film. Listen, I have no like nothing to relate this to because I've never seen anything else that he's done. So I don't know if this is an improvement over his past films. I know nothing about this guy, but his name is John McBride, and it says, this is like something that he wrote. I have always been a frustrated sitcom writer. I've loved the genre ever since I saw my first Leave It to Beaver episode. Shout out to Leave It to Beaver, such a classic series. And over the years, I've written a number of TV sitcom pilots, which have not made it to networks. So failed sitcom writer. And it's kind of, it's the kind of writing I really enjoy and always will. Wood Chipper was my first attempt at the family sitcom style, and in many ways was a homage to those old shows that I loved watching so much as a kid. Wood Chipper was a misunderstood movie from the beginning. Yeah, see, this is where the excuses come in. Given my previous gore-drenched track record, everyone was expecting blood and guts horror movie, and most people were disappointed. Now, I have to say, for me, that holds very true, but again, I'm not familiar with his filmography, so I have no point of reference. If you have the only point of reference I have, if you name your movie Wood Chipper Massacre, there better be a psychopathic killer, serial killer that's killing people and hiding the bodies using the Wood Chipper Massacre, or actually killing people with the Wood Chipper Massacre. I got none of that, guys, from this film. So, a little bit disappointing for me, to say the least. Now, what it ended up being was this family of kids. You have these two, there's like a girl who's probably, I don't know, 14 years old. She's got a younger brother that's like 12 years old. And then they got an older brother, which is actually played by the director, who looks exactly probably his age. He looks 27 years old, and you're supposed to believe that he's like 18 years old in the film, or 17 years old. He's like 6'6", and you know, he's definitely not a kid. But and it's funny because he's being babysitted. The father of the family goes away on a business trip, and they bring this old mean ass lady to babysit them. And anyway, the youngest kid orders a Rambo knife out of this magazine, and it comes in, and something happens in the kitchen, and he accidentally stabs the babysitter, who's a total bitch to everybody. And so they don't want to do, you know, life in prison for killing someone. So they come up with the idea, since they have a wood chipper in the yard. The older son was like supposed to cut up all kinds of trees and do all kind of landscaping. He promised his dad, and he's using the wood chipper in the beginning of the film. And so they decide to use the wood chipper to, you know, throw the babysitter in there. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, the babysitter's son, who is apparently a psychopathic, deranged killer, shows up trying to get money from them and trying to rob them. So they end up killing him, and then they have to hide his body. And that's basically it. I think you get 2 wood chipper kills and really no blood and guts whatsoever. And definitely not the type of movie that I was looking for. Again, the name is so iconic, and I love power tool killer films. So, Wood Chipper Massacre, 1989. It's the Brady Bunch meets the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Some of the family in it, the way they talk and their dialogue to each other, kind of reminds you of like Leave It to Beaver, or one of those like old school sitcoms. It is kind of funny. There's some funny stuff to it. I'm not gonna say it's like a just super terrible film, but I swear to God, there's like one sequence. I don't know what it is about the film. He used like some kind of filter on it, and I don't know if to tell you that it looks fake as fuck or it looks like too real. It's a really weird look to it. But there's a sequence where the youngest son comes out of the house, and he like takes a left and starts walking down the sidewalk, and the camera's set up where you get like a 2D, you know, effect of him walking down the sidewalk, and they're playing like this really upbeat, like really silly, goofy music soundtrack. And I swear to God, I thought I was watching one of those crappy Zelda games on the CDI. That's what it reminded me of. It was so funny. I started laughing my ass off. But the soundtrack is so ridiculous. I can't even explain how weird the soundtrack is in this film. Yeah, just not what I expected, but yeah. I don't know. Check it out if you dare. You definitely get some good laughs out of it. Down there. All right, I need to hurry up. I can't remember the date. It's like September. I need to double check. I might put it right here, the date or whatever. And if I haven't already scheduled it, I'll go ahead and schedule it. So it'll be scheduled out a couple to 3 weeks in advance. And but coming up next month, I'm going to be doing a tribute to William Friedkin, the legendary director. I'm going to have Ty Lord on there, and I'll probably ask a few other people. I might even do something I've never done before. I might even ask random YouTubers if they want to be on the panel, just to see how they react. And yeah, I'll send some invites to some people that I've never really messed with before to see if they'll come on aboard. And so we're going to be doing a tribute to William Friedkin, drinking beer, talking shit, and going over his filmography in reversed chronological order. We're going to start with the last stuff he made and work our way all the way up to The French Connection. Now, so I had to go out and get some physical copies of stuff that I did not have. And also, I'm watching movies that I've never seen before. I believe we talked about in the last video, although I didn't say too much about it because I want to save it for the live stream. But what was the movie? Sorcerer. At least I hope I talked about it. If not, I should be talking about it in this film, but I should be talking about it on this video. But I think I did talk about it in the last video. But another movie that I have not seen, To Live and Die in LA. And William Dafoe is amazing in this film, guys. And this is one exceptional movie. I'm not going to say any more about it because I want to talk about it on that live stream. But, yeah, if you have not checked out, I cannot believe after all of these years, this is the first time that I'm seeing this movie. Me being such a big fan of William Dafoe and being such a huge fan of the director, William Friedkin, it makes no sense that I've not ever seen this movie before. But this is a staple for me. Probably a movie that I'll watch. I might even watch this every year now. It's that fucking good, man. Again, I don't want to say too much, man, because I want to talk about this on the live stream. And, but yeah. To Live and Die in LA. Good shit, man. Good shit. By the way, hopefully I'm not butchering his name. I can't remember. I think his name's Jeffrey James. Is it Jeffrey James? The black guy from the American Ninja series. He died at 41 of pancreatic cancer. So rest in peace to him. He's like a gang leader in this film. I loved seeing him in this movie. And wish he would have got some bigger roles, like in roles in bigger films, or roles in films this big. You know what I mean? Like, he was kind of in a lot of B movie stuff, but I felt like he was an A movie type of actor, and he's one of my favorite actors of all time. The Jeffrey James? I can't remember. I'll put the name right here if I screwed that up. All right, now. I finally got, so I showed this off. This is a Walmart pickup, 20 movie horror collection here. And, you know, I watched the BTK, The Hunt for the BTK Killer. We talked about that. So I watched my second movie now, guys. Fatal Contact, Bird Flu in America. Now, I don't know why I was thinking this is going to be a killer bird movie, where birds are like attacking people and shit, but it's not. I should have known it being called Bird Flu in America. So basically, this is a COVID film, guys. You know, we went through COVID in real life, or I went through COVID in real life. I don't really want to watch a movie about COVID, but that's what it was, or that's what it is. And I mean, it's worse than COVID in this movie. I think. I don't know, like a gazillion people die in this film. There's like a number tracker that keeps on, like it's like in the left corner of the film that keeps on shooting up and up and up. Like 60, 70, 80 million people are dying. It's kind of crazy, but, you know, where did they say COVID came from? Didn't they say that came from like a bat? Anyway, this came from a bird, and I think this came from China as well. Or was it Japan? I don't know. But anyway, this was like a made-for-television film. And again, I didn't want to watch no COVID bullshit again, but I was like, I'm not going to lie. Like, when I watched this, I actually got into it pretty much. So, I don't have any of the actors or actresses' names in here. But I thought it was well acted. And being a made-for-television film, there's some really good, like, practical effects and stuff. I think when like the first guy died, they had to do an autopsy, and they cut this guy open. You can see his rib cage and like his internals and stuff, and it looked like really good. And it's had a lot of sad stuff, man. When you like families dying and kids dying, and you know, but it had like everything that you saw in COVID, like the grocery stores running out of water, toilet paper, people wearing a cheap fucking mask. And everybody trying to stay away from each other, and quarantine set up. I mean, it's like COVID all over again. And this was like in 2011, I think, when this film came out. It was an interesting watch. It wasn't too bad. All right, two movies that you guys might not know that William Friedkin did towards the end of his career in directing is Bug a movie that I've already seen a couple of times before. It's got Michael Shannon in it, and then it's got Ashley Judd, who I really like in movies. It also has Harry Connick Jr. in it as well. This is a very weird film, guys, and a good one at that. It says it will crawl under your skin. It's a very like paranoia laced film where they think that bugs are like Michael Shannon and Ashley Judd's character are a couple, and they think that bugs have infiltrated their dwelling, and they think the government is like kind of a double entendre here, bugging them, listening to their information and spying on them. And then there's this insect tie-in where it's a weird film. It's kind of hard to explain. A lonely waitress with a tragic past, Agnes Room. Oh, wait a second. I guess that's her name. Agnes rooms in a rundown motel, living in fear of her abusive ex-husband. But when she begins a romance with Peter, an eccentric drifter, she starts to feel hopeful again until the first bugs arrive. And then there's like a bug infestation. I don't know, man. At one point, they put aluminum foil all around their motel room, where it's one big, like they live in a aluminum foil cocoon. It's so freaking hilarious. This is a very interesting film, man. If you haven't seen this, definitely check this one out. I need to rewatch this before our live stream. And then another, I remember this being really good. I've seen this 2 times as well. In the last couple of years, actually. Killer Joe with Matthew McConaughey. Now, Matthew McConaughey plays a real dirtbag, like hitman type of dude in this film, man. He's a bad man. He's a bad dude, man. One hell of a movie. Expertly directed, flawlessly cast and written. Yes, there's some good actors in it. It's got Matthew McConaughey, Emily Hirsch, Gina Gershon, and Thomas Hayden Church in it. I'm trying to remember what the plot was in this. I know they get Killer Joe involved in it because they need his help. I think to kill one of their family members because they're going to try to collect on the insurance. Killer Joe Cooper. Matthew McConaughey is a Dallas detective who moonlights as a hitman with the charm of a Southern gentleman. Chris, Emil Hirsch, hires Joe to kill his mother in order to collect her life insurance and pay off his debts. Unable to pay for the service up front, Joe takes Chris's sister, Dottie, Juna Temple, as a retainer until he can be paid. Oh yeah, the young girl's like a retainer. So there's some kind of weird shit going on with them. And yeah, man, trailer park trashy like hitman, hire for murder type of shit, man. Good shit. Check it out. All right, 2 more films here. I'll let you guys go. We're at the hour mark, so perfect. Very surprised to see these films at Walmart, guys. I was like, wow, this is really cool. So, especially for the prices that I got them at. So Walmart's been doing this for a while now. They'll have like an end cap set up, and they'll have all these like really generic slip covers on Blu-rays and DVDs. Usually they have like a matte finish. They're not really glossy, super generic, and they don't put like a lot of money into them, but they're like a certain style, and I don't really like them that much. I stay away from them. I haven't purchased hardly any of them. I don't think I purchased any of them, to be honest with you. But these were mixed in with that end cap, But these actually do have a glossy finish on them, which was nice. And 2 films that I needed on Blu-ray, and I was very surprised to find there at the price they were at. I think this one was $7.50, The Mist. And you do not get any better than this when it comes to grocery store horror, guys. The only one that comes to mind is probably Intruder. That's another amazing grocery store horror film. But I definitely put this right up there with Intruder for sure. If not even, probably even better, to be honest with you. You know, I'm not a big fan of that cover. I think the original cover is like that, but it has more color to it. But I guess because they have the slips all nice and colorful, they downplayed that. Let's go ahead and open this up. Not that there'll be anything special in it. Maybe I should just skip opening it. But yeah, The Mist is a cool film, man. All those like really, you know, oversized like wasp and giant spiders, and the creatures are so badass in the film. Of course, I can't open this thing. This thing is so hard to open. There we go. Obviously based on a Stephen King book. Oh wow, I wonder why it has 2 discs. Let me see. Special features, view feature with commentary by writer-director Frank Darabont. Deleted scenes with optional commentary. A conversation with Stephen King and writer-director Frank Darabont. That's badass. Over 2 hours of total bonus material. Okay. No wonder it's got 2 discs. Good to know. Yeah, man, The Mist. Cool shit. And, oh, and by the way, so you know how you can ring yourself up at Walmart and different stores now? You know, there's a downside to that for the stores. You know, mistakes can be made. And sure enough, somehow I screwed up ringing this up. So I ended up getting The Mist for free. So I was looking at my receipt here. It says the gate, $9.96, I guess, with tax. So I got the gate for under 10 bucks, which is crazy. And it says voided entry, Mist blue. So somehow the entry got voided. So yeah, I got this one for free. Now, again, not to be outdone, we have one of my favorite films of all time, The Gate. What happens when you have a giant hole in your backyard? As a kid, would you explore it? Of course you would. I would explore it for sure. I would jump down in there. Now, when best friends Glenn and Terry stumble across a mysterious crystalline rock in Glenn's backyard, they quickly dig up the newly sodden lawn, searching for more precious stones. Instead, they unearth the gate, an underground chamber of terrifying demonic evil. The teenagers soon understand that they have released what evil they've released, as they are overcome with an assortment of horrific experiences with fiendish followers invading suburbia. It is now up to the kids to discover the secret that can lock the gate forever, if it's not too late. Yeah, man, it's one of my favorite horror films of all time. I love this shit. And to get that for under 10 bucks, man, I think that's a great Walmart purchase right there, man. I would definitely check that out. That's like the the authentic original cover right there. If you get like the Laserdisc, you'll see that artwork. I'm gonna open this one up as well. Shout out to the people at my work if they're watching. Oh, yeah. Really underwhelming there, guys. Super underwhelming. If you want to check out the special features, go ahead and pause. Screenshot that. But yeah, man, super fun flick. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you for checking out another Physical Media Mac video. And yeah, next week I'll be back. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the DVD collection, the non-horror DVD collection next week. That's going to be crazy. I might have to separate that into 2 parts. Probably what I'll do is I'll do that, and then the following week I'll hit you with another Goodwill hunting video. All right, guys, good luck out there finding whatever physical media that you are looking for. Let's keep physical media alive, and I think it is. I think it's thriving. There's a lot of physical media collectors out there, and you know, F digital, right? Not that there's anything wrong with streaming and stuff. You know, I do stream, but with me, it's physical media or die, man. My video game collection, my DVD collection, my Blu-ray collection is it's pretty insane. I'm actually going to move everything. I'm going to start a whole nother room on my house. I got another bedroom that I'm going to turn into probably my movie room. So I have a video game room and a movie room in my house, guys. And then a regular bedroom. You got to do some normal shit, you know. Although my bedroom has Laserdisc players and all kinds of badass shit. All right, guys, have a great rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you guys next Sunday. Peace out!